Tarot, and in today's video we're going to be looking at where to put your energy for 2021. So yes, this is still prediction based and we're going to talk about anything fun that pops up that you can look forward to, but also it's a great way to keep momentum going. I would say we always are investing ourselves and our energy and attention in anything, but we do hope that it's going somewhere, that it build upon something, and sometimes we unfortunately find out no, that it wasn't meant to be the long game. Now technically everything adds up to something else beneficial, so it's never truly a waste, but this is to get you excited and pay attention to, oh, this is popping up, this is important. So when you notice the signs and synchronicities, you can kind of head in that direction and continue to stay motivated as you build an interest in this path. So very cool, very fun. This is just a friendly reminder that I just released 2 new courses on tarot and intuition. Both seamlessly benefit each other. Do highly recommend using both together. In the intuition course, we do go over how to get to the spirit realm and how to meet your spirit guides, because it's a part of the intuition, which is really fun. And also I want to mention some cool new things that I post on my Patreon. I talked about some conversations I've been having with J.R.R. Tolkien. I talked about the idea of, are you bothering, or is it okay to talk to spirit guides and angels like, hundreds of times a day, thousands, are you going to bother them if you're talking to them that much? I talk about how to distinguish between your inner voice and spirit guides, because when you're developing these abilities, it's a process. You have to it's understanding that process in order to use it to your benefit. I also talk about an experience with a wraith and a werewolf, and I also talk about, is it necessary to cleanse sort of yourself and when preparing to work with, whomever you want to work with, whether that be spirit guides, angels, so on. I mean, there's many more other entities and beings you can work with. Is that necessary, basically? So that's just a flavor and taste of what's going on over there. As you can see, though, back to our original question, we have 4 groups in front of us. Group number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group and mark timestamp. And let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1. Let's see where to put your energy in 2021. Let's see, we have Aquarius, 5 of Pentacles, King of Cups in reverse, the Magician in reverse, the Justice card in reverse, and ooh, I'm already getting very good vibes with the Sun card upright. Let me just look at everything. Oh, I love this for you. Wow. Are they gonna have any abilities in 2022? Not for a little bit, but yes. Did I hear you correctly? Okay, sorry, I'm talking to my spirit guide. Sorry, I'm looking at everything and I just started having a side conversation with them. Sorry about that. A lot of this year it's all fantastic and wonderful, but I find when people do this type of relieving spirit, like self-improvement and growth in such a positive way, stepping into their power type feeling, from what I'm looking at with the cards, it feels like the sort of prepping beginning stages to opening yourself up psychically. So I was just curious. So that was the answer. It's just yes, but not for a little while. But that's so cool. I just wanted to add that in. I was just curious because I was looking at a lot of the signs. So anyways, focusing on with this. So let's start over here with Aquarius and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So there's two main things standing out here for me. First off, with this card representing duplicity and deception in love. This is mostly about you moving away from it. This is a hardcore year of you calling other people out when you feel you have been done wrong. And I don't mean in an intense, like, screaming match kind of way, but as soon as you start to notice the signs of you not being treated right, or it not like living up to, I don't want to say like the fantasy, but more, you know, we have a picture in our head of how we would like to be treated, you know, and it's not a bad picture. It's beautiful. You know, you're close with your other person. Everything's nice. Everything's great. You want to get along with everyone. You want to feel like you can be your best self. But sometimes, even if the partner is pretty decent, there can be some hiccups. Now, this doesn't mean full on ditching somebody if you're already in a happy relationship. It's just, you know, turning away and like looking at this other person and being like, no, I see what's happening. I will not be deceived by myself. Almost like gaslighting kind of feeling. Either way, if you are single and you are enjoying yourself and you're moving towards love, well, this is you narrowing down those options, and I'm really happy to say, and really gaining a deeper sense of connection with yourself, especially with it moving towards the King of Cups in reverse. I do want to mention this gets confirmed again, so it seems like a very heavy sort of theme for you is you stepping your power by being able to better identify what's not working with you and successfully, you know, just quickly being like, I'm cutting it off. I can see that. I'm not going to deal with that anymore. So expect not a lot of drama, but more being able to quickly identify things you don't like, even if it's a small little characteristic that hints to something. You can kind of see the long-term future, and you can kind of see that that's not your vibe, and quickly being like, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with this. So anticipate actually less of it, a more relaxed year by being able to so quickly kind of trim the things that don't work for you. But we see this repeated over here again with the sort of Justice card representing something that's like not fair, and then the Magician card, someone making you feel like an imposter, the imposter syndrome in general, and seeing how that when those two align, the combination of how they affect one another. The other thing this card representation, this card combo represents, my spirit guide was telling me about, is the idea of you walking away from things that deceive you about your own beauty. So this would definitely be pulling away from products that keep tricking you into thinking, oh, this is the product that's going to make you beautiful. Oh, this is going to be the thing. It's about realizing that nothing is going to make you beautiful because you already are beautiful, and they are more tricking you into a mindset of thinking you're without, you're lacking, you need this, but never feeling fully fulfilled after you purchase the product. I want to be clear, this is not to make any commentary or say you can't enjoy beautiful things like makeup, or if you do want to enjoy like cleansers and moisturizers, there's nothing negative about that, and you are more than welcome to enjoy those things. It's just finally feeling free and realizing when you're enjoying those things, they enhance what's already there, and kind of finally feeling yourself pulling away from that cycle of feeling like you're not good enough unless you purchase something to add to it. And so again, it's really an interesting take here, because normally in the cards for me, empowerment's about stepping into it, but I can already see here with the King of Cups that you already have it. You're more awakening to what's already there, which is really beautiful. So again, keep that in mind about both physical beauty and being aware of it, and kind of stepping away from the things that are making you think you don't have it, and stepping away from people that aren't adding good to your life, and being able to better identify it and feel more confident in that analyzation of what you're experiencing within somebody else. So speaking of analyzing other people, we got the King of Cups. This is you walking into the King of Cups. So it's not the King of Cups for my tarot readers who have the tarot course. This would not be read in reversal. This is in reverse, but because of the way they're facing each other, this one's being read upright. So this is moving away from this and walking into this. So the King of Cups is fantastic and lets me know so much about you. This is something that I wish everybody had this trait. I'm really happy to say you do. This is an extremely high level of emotional intelligence. And I'm talking about beyond empath, because it's one thing to just be able to successfully read the room and read other people, but you are able to play sort of devil's advocate and be able to see everybody else's side, everybody's side in the situation, and be able to make the better decision for the greater good. So there's this awareness that you're not kind of just simply identifying it and then getting swept up in it. You're able to kind of pull back, be very calm. This is somebody who's very in control of their own emotions. They're not only able to successfully analyze and understand what's going on, they're able to make really good decisions for themselves and the group as a whole going forward, being able to see everyone's side and perspective and motivations and where they're coming from. So it's not just simply, this is somebody who's definitely understands the world is not categorized as good and bad, but more circumstantial situations to work through, and to you're kind of not seeing an end game, but a flow and momentum into the next situation, and so on and so forth, of how each situation can positively affect the next, and being able to work with that to your advantage. So this shows me that you already know what's going on, but when somebody like you is waking up to that, they are able to have a certain level of meta separation. And what I mean by this is this might initially, it depends on who you are listening to this reading. This might either be totally familiar, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or you can practice this. So sometimes, how do I say this? You are closer, because everybody has this, to being able to understand the very core part of who you are is solid, is perfect, is good to go. And the various things that can potentially affect you or bog you down are sort of like a shell around you. And somebody who is this emotionally intelligent is able to kind of deep dive and connect into that inner, version of you, that inner that you can think of it as your higher self in a way, but you're really tapping into that true version of who you are, realizing that everything else is just trying to affect and influence you, and being able to successfully remove yourself from that influence, and therefore feeling more confident and in control of yourself, and having in general a happier experience, because you're able to realize who you already are, connect to that more deeply, and push the other stuff aside and not feel so reactionary. So this shows me that keep in mind everyone can do this, but you're a lot more closer at getting into that state of mind. So that's definitely something you can practice. I can make a meditation on my Patreon. I might do that. That could potentially be very helpful for everyone. But essentially the goal is, and you can just meditate on this in general, is you're really connecting to the inner core part of who you are and realizing that it's absolutely perfect, good to go, realizing that everything else is sort of like a heavy coat put on you, and allowing yourself to take off those heavy coats and start to be able to successfully identify them, realize that they were put onto you and are not you. So, yay! This is why with these signs, I was like, does this have psychic qualities in here? Amazing, useful skills you can use the rest of your life. You're going to definitely notice a huge improvement, not only in confidence and empowerment, but more so, or in addition, a sense of you feel like you know what's going on in your life. You don't feel so confused and lost. You're a lot more oh, I see the process. I'm a part of the process. Actually, this is very much the whole point of my intuition course and everything like that. So anyways, going on with these cards, hold on, I'm reminding myself what it was that I saw in here. Oh, yes. Karma. That's what my spirit guide was talking about. I was reading it that doesn't matter. The point is, I'm remembering what my spirit guide said to me. So they said that this is going to be a really big year, that the way you're going to gain your confidence. So again, the Magician card being right next to the King of Cups is like very big energy. This is somebody who has imposter syndrome, who is actually quite powerful and capable, but they're just not allowing themselves to see that and then use it to their benefit. Again, both of these, I'm happy to say, are going to be changing, which I'm really happy about. But often I find when the Magician card pops up, this is somebody who has the Magician is somebody who has like everything they need. There's like a special concoction of things that enable them to be such a good manifester, to be so kind of in control of every aspect of their life, from emotional to energy to manifesting, to the physical, to themselves, to their direct relationships, and so on and so forth. They're just so aware of what's going on and able to do all the right things at the right time. They're just very aware, so to speak. But I often find when this card pops up, it's sort of like there's one, you're almost there, you're almost close to the Magician, but there's like one missing piece to the puzzle. And each piece and puzzle situation is different for each person. So one person might need to let go of something from the past. Another person might need to become more skilled in a certain area, and that's sort of the last thing they need to feel like this complete magician and then use all of this to their advantage. So the missing puzzle piece we have for you here is in the Justice card in reverse, and my spirit guide said this represents karma being let go. Now I want to be really clear about that process so that you can then go clear the karma. So karma is actually just stuff we haven't let go of. So it isn't directly the idea of you did something bad, then that bad thing, followed, or you were not nice to someone and then that happened. It's more of something you were unable to let go of. So yes, it can involve that type of stuff, because in our heart of hearts, we don't really want to do that, and that might bother you in other lifetimes and other, it's like if you think back to something maybe you did like a year before and you're like, oh, I'm just like a different person now, and you want to let go of that. That would be like a version of karma you're sort of taking on, and you can actively let go of it. But this can also be really small stuff, like maybe in a past life you couldn't overcome the idea that somebody wasn't fair to you. Like you did nothing wrong, but you just couldn't let go of that idea that it wasn't fair, this situation that happened. So essentially, letting it go is sort of coming to terms with it and finally being like, okay, I see the bigger picture, or see what this meant. I'm ready to emotionally release it from my life and, do that. So the best way to do this is through past life stuff. I have a whole video about this in my Spiritual Talks video about past life stuff. If you would like me to go into further detail on my Patreon, I would be happy to do that. But going on, though, about the past life self, I go through a whole procedure about how you essentially get to experience your past life. You then, how you deal with it and how you sort of let it go and move it on. So keep that in mind, which is really cool. But you're going to be doing a lot of that and releasing it. And then those things that you unknowingly, or maybe you were aware, were still sort of bothering, affecting you now in this lifetime, can be let go. And again, it opens up space for you to really step into your full power that we already know you have. And then the last really awesome, positive, happy thing, I'm really happy, this is going to be a sensational year for you, is the Sun card. My spirit guide said you're going to have a lot of really sweet, happy, close relationships. The way they are explaining it and showing it to me is it's like you creating and enjoying your own greener pastures, which is really sweet. So again, you know what I'm talking about imagery wise, when people always say, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side, it always feels like it's kind of out of your reach. Well, this is you sort of carving that out for yourself, really finding out who you're close and connect to, having them in your inner circle. Maybe you enjoy something like really redecorating your own personal space and really enjoying that space that you're in, and maybe getting all your favorite, whether this be books or TV shows or video games, and just having this little place where you look at your life and you go, wow, this is it. I'm living the life. This is the life I want. I'm so confident about it. I know other people would want this life, and just really feeling happy and cozy. The Sun card is an extremely positive card in general, but I love these extra details my spirit guide was showing me. So overall, very beautiful, very cool. I'm so happy for your 2021. Again, keep focusing on being able to identify the things that don't work for you for both beauty and relationship. Keep stepping into this inner person that you already are and realize that other sort of weight is not defining you. It was projected at you, kind of thing. And then over here, work on relieving those past life karma things to feel, to get it off you. Think of it as the coats you're relieving. I mean, I bet you this is totally connected. And get excited to build those greener pastures. If you feel any inklings, like you want to purchase something because you would like to bring it into your space to make your space a little brighter, or you'd like to make a closer connection with a friend and you feel self-conscious of like, oh, what if that friend, what if I'm like bothering them too much? No, you enjoy their company. Keep asking them to hang out with you and be with you. Just keep thinking of it as bringing things or people or connections, energies into your space and making this great little space that you're enjoying. So I love this for you. Please leave a comment below about like what in particular you're excited about. I'm telling you, this is like a very good year. I am wishing you the best. Don't forget to also like and subscribe. It helps the channel so much, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's find out where to put your energy for 2021. We've got the Moon, 7 of Swords. Oh, I'm being told how to rearrange the cards. Thank you. I'm just looking at the cards. I'm just going to read the cards. Give me a second to look at the cards. I'm so curious in the comments below about this color. Does anyone else remember? I was having this conversation with someone that this is now referred to as chartreuse. But like, don't you feel like you remember chartreuse originally being referred to as sort of like a maroon color? Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the comments below if you remember that. That's something I remember. But anyways, let me look at these cards. Just give me one moment to look at everything. Oh, wow. Wow, that is a big confirmation. Wow. I love this. This is going to be a wild year for you. I love this so much. Okay, let's first talk about this going on, because this gets repeated a ton of different ways. If you're familiar with my tarot course, we have over here the Moon. This is the most important thing. We can look at the Queen of Swords as sort of additionally adding on to the concept of the truth. We'll get to that in one second. But both of these cards and how they're all intertwined with each other is like, we talk about repeating or mirroring themes. So here's a mirroring theme here, here's a mirroring theme here, here's a mirroring theme here, here's a mirroring theme here. We have 4 different reconfirming patterns that keep heavily implying this is it. This is the point. This is the point. I don't usually come across, and I understand why my spirit guide wanted me to set it up this way. Normally, I'll get 2 and I'll be like, oh wow, that's a lot of confirming patterns. This must be really important. 4, that's huge. That's really that is an over-the-top amount of confirmation cards to say how important this is to your year, which I love because you got the Moon. Fun fact, I was getting the High Priestess card, which is associated with the Moon, and the Moon card quite a bit, like right before I started to really like pop off with my psychic abilities. So keep in mind, and I'm not making like a blanket statement towards your psychic abilities. I want to more talk about the Moon means, but understand that my whole life positively changed when I stepped into myself and my abilities in this kind of way. And this involved that sense of like mystery. So first, let's start off with what it means. With the Moon card, this is representative by the idea of the Moon blocking some form of mystery. So right behind the moon is a mystery, something that you want to know what the dealio is. And then the moon is sort of this blocking path that prevents you from understanding what the truth is. Now, that doesn't mean and imply you won't know what the truth is. It does. It means you will find out what's behind it. But the moon is like a really obvious way of going, hey, I got something over here. You don't know what it is yet, but maybe you should look into it. So it's different than like, you know how when people are trying to find out like, is this real? Is this not real? Is this the truth? Is this not the truth? But you're not always aware, because a good example would be like, if let's say you start hanging out with a friend and you like them, you think they're cool. As far as you're concerned, everything they're telling you is what really happened to them. You assume they are not making up childhood stories and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying here? So with the moon card, this would be more of a very clear, obvious, like, ooh, there's a mystery here. Maybe you should look more into it. Think of it as like the lost card, so to speak. Now, the really cool thing about this is when mysteries pop up through the moon card specifically, is I find these are usually pretty big. Most of the time. With so many confirming cards, this shows how gargantuanly big it is. When I mean big, this is like when you find out what the mystery is that you're looking at, you suddenly look back at like everything in your life and you're like, little things that you overlooked had such significance, and you suddenly realize you were being kind of shown the truth, or you were trying to be guided to the truth your whole life. Or looking at a fault of yours and suddenly realize it's an insane gift and you didn't even realize that, and oh my goodness, everything was meant to be, and finding a deep sense of reconciliation because you realize how it all added up. This is that type of like, whoa, like I now better understand myself. Whoa, I can use this to my advantage. Whoa, I better understand everything that's happened up to this point. So it's a really positive mystery and thing to look into. And also, when these mysteries pop up, oh my goodness, it is such a fun, diving deeper into it. It's usually not, is it not going to be an overnight process? I'm assuming it's not. My spirit guide was like, no, it is not an overnight process, which means like you'll initially find a little more about it, think you understand it, learn a little more. It's got a lot of layers to in understanding. So the journey is really fun. You're going to have a great time during the journey of finding out and finding conclusively, ultimately, what it all means, and really enjoying that too, and having it positively, majorly impact your life. But I do want to talk about how important it is that these cards both show up, because both of them talk about the potential for you to resist looking into this mystery. This could most likely be self-doubt, because my spirit guide's like, it is. And I find when self-doubt pops up so strongly, the more sort of the mystery is reaching out to you. It shows how powerful you are. Often it's, people always show in like movies and stuff like, ooh, you've got this inner empowerment or power. Isn't this cool if you got everything you wanted? And then people start to get that and it's overwhelming. And so there's sort of like a first internal rejection, which is so normal and doesn't mean even if you initially internally reject it, you're pushing it away forever. And my spirit guide's agreeing like, no, not at all. So keep in mind, if you do initially do that, that's totally okay. But both of these cards show you sort of at first being like, no, I don't know. I don't want to look into this. I can sense there's something here, but I'm kind of afraid to look into it. I'm pushing it away. But the thing over here is with the Seven of Swords in reverse, my spirit guide said these two swords left behind are sort of like you leaving yourself behind, feeling like you're not quite yourself the more you pull away from the mystery. Fun fact, when you get deeper into this spiritual stuff, you'll find the less, this is like after a lot of like understanding yourself and like healing and that type of stuff, but often the less you don't feel good, the more it's being shown as like an inner compass that you're not headed in the direction you want. So like, you know, when people intuitively are like, oh, this is the direction I should go, I'm feeling like it's the right path. Well, the stronger it will get when you're not headed down the right path. And you'll have this deep sense of like, oh, I know I don't feel like me. And the more you don't feel like you, the more you're like, oh, I know I should be turning around and going over here. Not because, again, I want to be clear, not because you're sensing some great gargantuan negative thing. Not at all. It's just, it feels so wrong not being yourself that you have no other choice but to head more towards the truth, which is being represented over here in the Queen of Swords. Same thing over here is another indicator. Again, this is like an awareness of when you're sort of, not off track, but avoiding looking into the mystery. Over here on the Five of Wands, this is like inner conflict, but I want to more focus on the idea of this push and pull. This is when two different parties, but in this case, this is sort of like an inner narrative with yourself of like, should I go towards this? Should I not go towards this? When they're both kind of raising their perspective or conflict, or not conflict, perspective, like being like, this is what I think, this is what I think. And as they start to kind of clash, neither is willing to let up there's no compromise, so it's this back and forth push and pull, and nothing gets done. It's super frustrating for everyone involved. So this is, again, that feeling of like, oh, I'm not quite moving forward. Oh, I feel off. I feel like I should go here, but that doesn't feel good, and I feel like I should go over here, and I'm being pushed and pulled. When you, again, feel that way, you should understand that again is a sign of like you're getting tangled up. Keep in mind though, sometimes when we feel tangled in this way, it can also make us feel tangled towards the destination we do want to go towards. So don't be surprised if you start to pull away from the mystery because of your own, personal choices. And you're like, I don't know if I want to look into this. And then as you start to sort of pull away from it, you feel this inner conflict that also makes you feel somewhat negative towards the mystery. We know now, no, you're not, you're good, but you're so kind of pushed back and forth, you're unable to quite decipher what it is you're actually feeling and where to go. So understand when you feel these feelings of either feeling like you left part of yourself behind or you're feeling pushed and pulled, this is sort of your inner compass of going, turn around, go back. And I'm really happy you got the Queen of Swords because I feel she is an underrated card of somebody who has a lot of power and gets a lot of things done because of her relationship with the truth. She believes that when you don't shield someone from it, when you are brutally honest and get into how it all adds up and what it all means, you are not only showing that much more respect to whoever it is, but you are able to get things done a lot easier because you're just kind of getting straight to the point. I think of it as like you're looking into the secrets of the universe, and sometimes when people learn about these secrets, it can be initially overwhelming due to deep conditioning of what you had preconceived notions. But then once you kind of come to terms with it and you're cool with it, you're like, wow, this is great. This is so beneficial. I'm getting things so much done easier because I know the truth now. And the sooner you know the truth, the more you can save time and just kind of like enjoy the universe to your advantage. So like I said, very big deal, very awesome. I'm really excited for you to uncover that mystery and enjoy all of that. But these are sort of the warning signs of if you start to pull away, don't worry, you're not going to lose it forever or anything like that. It's okay to kind of have to come to terms with it, but understand that these feelings are more indicators you need to turn back rather than anything actually being wrong. You weren't negatively affected by this, you're being negatively affected by avoiding the truth, and you are welcome to the truth. And the truth has many advantages, and you're going to be really happy with the mystery and outcome of understanding it all, but this is sort of your indicator. And I did ask my spirit guide if I should pull more cards to get more specific about the mystery, but they said this is so individualistic case-by-case scenario that basically no, like this is a general reading. I try to get as specific as I can, but they basically were like, it's just so case-by-case in this scenario. Going on. That was very long, but thank you for listening to me. So going on here, with the Three of Swords upright representing very intense grief and heartbreak, and I want to be clear about this, you've previously been through. Does this have anything to do with childhood stuff? No. Okay, good. So this is just like previous intense, like, you know, you were hurt in some way, maybe a past relationship. This could be friendship. This could be romantic. Maybe you were just really betrayed by your peers of some sort. My spirit guide is like really going, yes, that. Is it also friendship and romance too? Yes. Okay. So yes, it could potentially be friendship or romance, but it's my spirit guide was pointing out, like, yes, for people who feel like betrayed by the group, kind of like not accepted a part of the group and stuff like that. Well, I'm really happy to say this is your year of overcoming this stuff, and we can have a better sense of coming to terms with it all, with how it intertwines with the Queen of Cups. So the way you overcome this past turmoil is by being able to better understand the emotions you're going through and more riding the waves rather than putting the waves in a box, rejecting the waves, trying to punch the waves. You know what I mean? Like, when I see these two cards paired together, the first thing I'm thinking is somebody has been emotionally going through it. You got a lot of highs, a lot of lows. The emotional feelings, the feelings you're feeling are intense. They're powerful and they are strong. So that is why you get often swept up in the current. This is why it's normal for your first reaction to be like, get rid of it, put it away. I just realized you're a very emotional person and we have the moon. I love that. That's so beautiful. Talk about a tarot extra confirming what's going on here. But with the Queen of Cups, this is somebody who is like, wait a minute, my emotions are an advantage. I just need to understand how they work to work with them. So the way she works, and this is where you can put your energy in, is she is able to ride the waves, surf the waves. She is aware they're there. She does not reject that they're there. She does not reject the highs and the lows of how she feels and experiences, but she is not so reactionary over time because she sees the continuous ongoings of the waves going up and down. So when it's low, in her head, she's like, oh yeah, this is low, whatever. I've experienced lows before and got over them, and I'll probably experience them again, and I'll get over them again. And so therefore they don't feel so low. And when they are high, and you know that she feels great and amazing, she's not concerned that she will somehow lose this sort of momentum. She's not afraid of it being temporary. She doesn't see it as temporary, but she's not afraid of getting it again or a fear of the loss because she'll always come back up. So she's really starts getting in this beautiful up and down current where she becomes less bothered by if she has an off day, and then she gets not so overwhelmingly like, this is it, this is the rest of my life, before a sense of deep disappointment and kind of putting up too much, what's the word, like kind of building herself up too much, or himself or themselves up too much, and putting too much expectations on themselves and the experience when it's up, but rather is like, this is nice, I'm enjoying this. And then this is where it gets really cool with the Queen of Cups. As they go up and down and it becomes less of a big deal and they're able to kind of overcome it all, they also simultaneously are able to see the bigger picture. This is like somebody having like a deep moment in like a movie and they're like, no, you don't understand, man. I'm not riding the wave. I am the wave. You know what I mean? So they get very meta. They really start to go beyond even the circumstantial situations and their emotions. And their emotions become less something that controls them, and even beyond them controlling their emotions, but rather like, I'm trying to find the words to explain how gargantuan of a next level this is. So this is not only overcoming the past and these intense feelings that have potentially made you feel like you were kind of being held back by them, but having a great sense of empowerment by focusing and realizing these things and then going the next level with them. So who doesn't love that? That is very beautiful, very powerful, and you're going to get super deep this year. I can already feel it, especially with the mystery popping up. Oh, I felt that. I felt like I felt a very intense vibration of like it's more than deep inner knowing. It's like, I felt what you would feel. And it was like, it was, whoa. You're gonna have a lot of like staring up at this, clouds and being like, wow, kind of moments. So I'm very excited for you. And then last but not least, we have this. And I think this is a fantastic way to, an issue so many of us have, that you're going to be leaving behind and really connecting to the opposite over this year. So we have the Four of Swords in reverse, representing somebody who really badly needs a break and needs to take time off. It shows how hard you've worked and that you're just kind of tired in being sort of, you could describe it as either the rat race, or you could describe it as in general feeling this need that you have to work X, Y, and Z amount of hours or this hard in order to be deserving of success, in order to be deserving of continuing to make money or have good things happen, and so on and so forth. And I'm really happy to say with the Eight of Cups upright that this is you leaving that behind. I'm really happy to say you're finally letting go of those notions and giving yourself a break. But I don't mean giving up a break as in, and this is the way my spirit guide also agreed with this and confirmed this. They said, like, it's not that you're going to be taking off time off work and then just being done with it. It's more that when you approach working, you're not in that mindset that you have to do a certain amount of work to get a certain amount of success. You kind of see the bigger picture and realize you can have all the success you want, and you break free of that notion. And by breaking free of that notion, that's what then allows the successful manifestation, the success in general, because you start to realize the value in doing things for you when it's the right time for you. So like example, this is you kind of being like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break. I'm feeling like it. I'm gonna work less hours this week, or I'm gonna take an extra vacation. You're not worried and in your head thinking, well, what if this makes me look bad? And I shouldn't. I just took a vacation 2 months ago. I shouldn't take another one. And I don't know if I can take a day off. What if this adds up and prevents me from doing this? Look at them. They're allowed to work less, but I can't work less. It's like totally getting over that mantra in your head, enjoying life and what you do a lot more, and realizing that success is definitely not matched based on this philosophy. So I see a lot more relaxation, inner connection this year, and in general overcoming like an inner mantra that's actually more hindered you than helped you. So expect a sort of opening floodgate of more positive things and just general success to come. So that is like, and keep in mind, like that's like foundation mantra you're overcoming, which just basically means expect a lot of continued success past 2021, because if you can get that core idea out of your head, you're basically, like I said, opening up a floodgate for so much more to come. So, love that for you. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I am just wishing you so much the best. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Feel free to give this video also a like, a subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get ready for our third group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out where to put your energy in 2021. As you know, I absolutely love to rhyme. It's my jam. We've got Sagittarius, Nine of Cups in reverse, Two of Cups in reverse, Queen of Pentacles upright, the Moon upright, the Hierophant upright. Okay. Oh, this is so great. Oh, I love this. Okay, let's get into this. This is fantastic. So first, let's go with what's going on over here between Sagittarius and the Nine of Cups in reverse. So we have Sagittarius representing, and I did double check with my spirit guide, straightforwardly philosophical. And then over here, we have the Nine of Cups representing the situation where somebody is getting their biggest wish, desire. This could be out of an individual circumstance or in general in life. But there's a catch. There's something that's a little kind of off, or they're having to sacrifice about the circumstance or the thing that they want, whether this be like a physical manifestation like direct object, or a particular aspect of like a relationship, a career, whatever may have you. And I'm happy to say that is going to be changing due to this. This is sort of, think of this as like the key, the final thing that needed to be put into place in order to turn this card upside right, or upright, where you get exactly what you want. You can move forward in your manifestations and goals and wishes and desires wholeheartedly and get excited about receiving the whole thing to its completion. So definitely get detailed this year about like, I want this and I want it like that, and enjoy the outcome of that. So how is it that you're where are you putting that energy in order to change that circumstance? Well, with the straightforward philosophical aspect, this represents two things. On one hand, it represents this idea of being really upfront with people. In both circumstances, is about being really upfront with people and being like, you know what? I believe in this. I'm down with this. I know this might not be conventional or things that other people believe in or even probable, but this is like what I'm down with. I'm feeling this, or I'm going to be open about even pondering it in general. And the other aspect it can mean, or it potentially means both. Does it mean both or individual? Either or. Okay. This is one of those situations where my spirit guide is like, it just depends on you. It could be one or the other or both. Anyways, going on, I'm sharing all the options. And the other option is being straightforward when it comes to being a more philosophical person, in the sense like, so let's say somebody comes to you and they're like, I don't like this person. They're a jerk. I want you to, in so many, the underlying commentary they're making when they're sharing this to you is they want you to jump on the bandwagon and dislike them as well. But, maybe you might have done that in the past, but you're starting to kind of be like, you know what? But I'm someone who sees the other side. Not to bash on the person who is being open and honest with me, but I also see the wrongs they might have done and see the potential of the other argument on the other side. And, I don't want to have to curb myself and lie and say like, oh yes, you're right, they were such a jerk. And being able to have a more open discussion of what was going on as a whole, and not curbing yourself around other people, and being able to see all these different sides and stuff like that. And being willing to potentially even lose out on friendship, because, a true friend would allow you to express yourself wholeheartedly. And this is going to actually lead over here into the Two of Cups. We're going to get there in 1 second. But this is just being really upfront with people and being able to see all the potential sides, being able to share the things that you ponder and think and maybe have kept in the past because maybe you felt like they weren't the conventional ideas everyone else believed, and being more open about it. And by standing in your truth more, and this is and by this showing up and this being sort of the last final key to the thing you needed to do in order to receive the full wish and fulfillment you were hoping for going forward. And when we're saying we're wish and fulfillment, we're talking about like in general throughout the year, the things that you would like to happen and you're wishing and manifesting for happening successfully due to living this lifestyle. It shows how important it is to you. This is something that you've been wanting to do for a while. This is a very core defining trait of who you are, and this is you finally getting to live that version of yourself, or more specifically, the truth of who you really are. Now going forward, I'm really happy to say with the Two of Cups in reverse, this is you finally being like, you know what? I'm done. If people don't perfectly match up to what I'm putting in to somebody else, and I'm not getting that equal energy back, I'm out. So this is you really finding equal. And I was double checking with my spirit guide. I was like, oh, is this friendships? Is this romances? And they said yes to both, but they cut it off there and said it's specifically friendships and romances. It's both. So this does have a positive hint towards romance as well, both for people in a couple. And let me just double check if it's couple and single. Yes to both, my spirit guide said. Okay, good. So this is really cute because this is you basically living your best life, doing your thing. And again, we talk about being very straightforward, being very open in this kind of way, and just being upfront with people, and you being yourself and being loving and caring. And then when you notice you're not really getting that back, like maybe you're putting more in than you're getting in return, just very easily going, oh, none of that, goodbye, and then being like, but nothing's going wrong, we're not fighting, I'm not being unkind to you as a friend or a romantic partner, and you being like, yeah, but like, I really want the most out of life, and my dream version in my life is somebody, like, I'm like, this is somebody who's like definitely self-empowered and is like, I'm pretty great, I'd like that back. I'd like to also receive the gift of, enjoy the gift of receiving as much as giving, and I'm not seeing it here. I will therefore look for it elsewhere and successfully finding that, which is really beautiful, again, by being so straightforward and not holding back. That also goes for, again, when we talk about the philosophical part of you that like maybe has things you've been kind of keeping on the DL that you kind of keep to yourself. You don't really have like other people you talk to it about. This is you basically making this sort of connection and vibe with other people by being like, you know what, I'd like to find other people that I can talk about this stuff with, which is really beautiful and cute. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles. I love what my spirit guide said for this. This goes for both career and in general lifestyle, which is fun. This is when you find an occupation or step more into a role in your occupation that is self-reliance. So example, this would be a good hint to starting a business this year and like doing your own thing, whether that be like a cute Etsy store or maybe like a bigger kind of operation. This would be like a good time to do that because you're doing your own thing, you're relying on yourself. But this can also be the type of job in general. Maybe you do work with other people, but it would be something involving like gardening, like the aspect of like your, how do I say this? I mean, self-reliant. I mean, I think I put it pretty plainly. So this would not be, would this be corporate? In some cases, yeah. I'm so sorry I'm tripping over my words to give you examples, but just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to solely be based on having your own individual career. This can also involve the type of career that involves being self-reliant in nature by its occupation itself, like what it represents. Example, gardening. Somebody who's gardening for themselves and can provide their own food and sustenance, even if it's for other people, that in itself is a very self-reliant type of activity. So you get what I'm saying here. That could also include things like sewing and stuff like that. Again, you're making your own clothes. Even if you're making it for other people, you're working in a field with other people. It doesn't mean you're solely by yourself. You're doing something self-reliant. So you get what I'm saying here. But my spirit guide also said, because I was like, oh, because they were like, this is your career related card. And I was like, oh, okay. And they said, but this also implies or applies to in general for the year becoming more self-reliant as a person. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to like get into gardening and like grow your own food and that type of thing, or like have fun and seeing like, can you make your own clothes? Can you do it exploratively? But either way, it is self-reliance both in career and in general lifestyle, which is very fun and very cool. And last but not least, we have what's going on over here in the Hierophant and the Moon card. My spirit guide was very, very, very specific about this. I asked for other options and they said, nope, it's the one option. So with the Hierophant taking on that sort of educational student role, you're sort of like looking into gaining knowledge in a professional sense. It does have a different vibe to it than like a page card, I want to be clear, because pages are inherently students themselves. But a Hierophant is somebody who's like, how do I say this? Like a page is somebody who's like trial and error basing it, and a Hierophant's like really like going into it with a sense of like they're practicing it pretty regularly, they're giving it a lot of serious attention, and their goal is to really gain something at the end of it, while the page is like, oh, I'm into this new hobby, let's try it out, let's have fun, kind of wandering around, enjoying themselves, sometimes not solely focused on it, compared to the more sincere serious focus. Again, we're not trying to make this serious. It's just, I'm trying to give a perspective of someone who's like really kind of hitting the books and enjoying a hobby to its fullest, so to speak. But that is associated with the Moon card. And my spirit guide specifically said this is the year that you will get into, I'm assuming traveling too. Yeah, okay, cool. Traveling and studying the spirit realm specifically, which is very cool. Now, I'm This is in the cards. I'm just being clear. This is just talking about the spirit realm. I did check if this involves like magic practitioners, like magic, like more into that type of thing. And they said no. They said my spirit guide was like spirit realm. And so I'm just putting this out there. My intuition course does go into how to get to the spirit realm, how to talk to your spirit guides and all these other high vibrational beings of love and light, and how to like work with them for guidance and being able to bring that into the practical world and how it all comes together. So I'm not trying to like push that. It did just pop up in the cards, and I do so happen to offer that. So I'm just letting you know that is in the description below, because that is so specific to what I directly offer. So keep that in mind. But at the minimum, just understand that is the focus. So very cool, very fun. A lot of like making your life what you want it to be to the fullest, both like in kind of casting out people that don't match and bring back that energy, mixed with being able to more successfully manifest with a sense of like, I'm gonna make it happen myself, even if I have to sew it or cook it or make it myself. I'm gonna make it happen. By the way, those are the only examples that are coming to my head. That doesn't mean those are the only options. There's tons of things you could do that are self-reliant, that are not domestic related. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did. Very fun, very cool. Please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Helps out like you would not believe. I am wishing you the best. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for our final group. Group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out where to put your energy in 2001 by looking at the cards. We've got Aquarius, Ace of Cups upright. Ooh, I love that sandwich over here. 4 of Wands in reverse, 3 of Cups upright, and the Hanged Man upright. Oh, this is going to be such a fun year for you. Like both literally and fun in a different kind of way. And I'll explain why. Very trippy. Okay, let's get into this. This is so cool. So first, let's start with Aquarius. This is representing the idea of reason and reasoning. So this is being like non-judgmental. This usually comes from a place of being like loyal, because you're trying to understand like the bigger picture going on. Pardon me. Overall, this is, just think of it simplistically as reasoning, understanding like what's going on from all different sides. There's a sense like, well, I don't want to say there's practicality to it. I'm choosing too many characteristics. You get what I'm saying here. But I want to actually focus on what's going on over here, because we have a bit of a sandwich effect with the results being the Ace of Cups in the middle. So the 4 of Wands in reverse refers to when your like home life or your literal home, like your safe space, feels under attack or just feels dysfunctional in some kind of way. Now, don't worry. This is going to be good. This is not how it's going to go. It's going to change from there, I'm really happy to say. So with the 4 of Wands in reverse, when we have our place that we feel like we can go and be creative and it feels nice and happy, so much flourishes from this. This is what I'm really happy to say, is you're moving towards a foundation a lot of people don't promote or overlook, and they underestimate how important it is. Because if you don't have this foundation, this is when people go to try new things or try out methods other people have, and it is not successful because they don't have this foundation. So they just see other people, things working for them and it not working for them, and they don't understand why. And it's like, if you have this, it makes everything else so much more possible and amazing. I can't express enough what a big of a deal this is in 2021 that you will be stepping into this. I'm really happy about it. So anyways, going back to the whole concept of you, so you have your space where you can feel like you can try things out, very trial and error. You can experiment, you can have fun, you can really be yourself. And so hopefully you would want to feel that way, whether this be, again, this could be any sense of representation or literal. But with it being in reverse, this is the feeling of feeling like it's not working. Maybe you don't like your roommate. Maybe you're not getting along with your family. Maybe you're just, whatever it is, it's just something feels off and you don't feel like you can really unwind in that way we just expressed, and how important it is to feel like you can unwind. Well, I'm really happy to say you're going to be really stepping into a place of reasoning and focusing on these fear-based beliefs through reason, because that is what my spirit guide's telling me. It's like you really pushing through what you think is being sort of pushed onto you. It doesn't mean it is being pushed upon you. It's realizing everything's okay. Like a good example would be like, so let's say you aren't getting along initially with your roommate and you're like, oh, this is so frustrating. This is not making the environment I want to be in feel like I can really just relax and be myself. And by reasoning and understanding where they're coming from, or the bigger picture, or how much it doesn't have to affect you, and you can even like if the issue is like you pick up their energy, you can easily go figure out how to work with your energy so you don't pick up on what they're doing anymore. And through reasoning, you're able to realize there's nothing going on at all, and in turn, it actually benefiting the situation more than just your perception of the situation. The situation actually gets better because you're not kind of sort of adding and feeding off each other. It's sort of a complex system we're talking about here, but I'm just giving one example. And through that reasoning, you overcoming any slight potential, I'm not saying anything bad's gonna happen, it means that your environment feels that much safer. Any underlying subconscious worries you have about it feels better, and therefore you're able to be more connected to yourself and explore yourself better. And then this is when we have the beautiful Ace of Cups popping up, specifically representing the idea of being more emotionally open and trusting. This is very important because when it comes to being a more open and trusting and loving individual, we then say to the universe, hey, I am willing to understand. And I can understand. Oh my goodness, I hope you cannot hear. I don't think you can. Okay, don't worry. I try to be like aware of like that, like if there's like a noise or something like that. Anyways, so going forward, when you become more emotionally open in this kind of way, what happens is when you go to approach something, it is a lot easier for it to happen. And I'm talking anything. I'm keeping this super general because you don't have blockages. One of the biggest things that blocks or makes people push away manifestations, push away good relationships, push away many things, is they feel they are unable to let down their guard. So they're like, oh, I noticed something happening, I don't want it, push it away. But if you feel like you have a place to express yourself and you feel like you're able to really kind of unwind and relax and explore and become that much more strengthened in who you are, which then opens up the open emotional and trusting perspective, it then creates this beautiful thing where as you explore other, paths in your life, trying new things out, stepping into new roles, it will be a lot more fluid and easier because of this, which is very cool. So understand that you will have a much more pleasant time this year. Feel like you are a lot more empowered by how much you took a hold of the situation just through a perspective. And I do want to point this out. We're going to get more into this, but realizing how much your perspective and your subconscious is affecting your environment. Not only taking more control and a hold of that, the way we just talked about, but seeing the results of that and exploring what that means. So there's a lot layered on there. 3 of Cups, straight up just a good time. My spirit guide said you're going to have a lot of festivities, a lot of celebrations, just a fun time. Expect this is how they put it. They said, expect a lot of memories to be positively built this year. So, definitely have fun, take pictures, make cute little collages, just really enjoy and savor every moment because it's just going to be fun. You're just going to have a good time. And I'm just really happy for you. And that's just purely a wonderful thing to look forward to. Now, the thing with the Hangman is when we come back to this, is it gets really interesting here, because we're specifically not only focusing on the traditional meaning of the card, but we're also focusing on Neptune, with the idea of the unconscious and conscious mind, and the idea of that line between them being removed, and realizing how they very much all the time regularly run over each other. Again, we talked about the idea of understanding, oh, what does my subconscious say? How can I work with it? And then how can I see the results of that around me? Again, this is like super, like, I'm not trying to like, I'm just saying this is like super aligned with my intuition course. So if that at all interests you, I highly recommend it. Like, definitely explore that option. But anyways, going on. So with this card, this specifically talks about the idea that this is not a good time right now to explore going to, like, you're not gonna, like, this is not the year you're really gonna want to like start anything major. I don't mean that in like a negative sense, like anything bad's gonna happen. Like, if you want to start like a business or start something big, you are more than like, go for it. Like, there's go enjoy your life, but don't expect this to be a year that's so much more focused on this. This is more a combination of like a timing thing, but often when a timing thing implies that something isn't going to work out the maybe way you want it to due to timing. So this is like a, oh my goodness, why is something not working out? Why is this not becoming everything I hoped it would be? Or maybe not even at all. When this card pops up, it's like saying, hey, the universe and timing and stuff is a little bit like out of, it's disheveled right now, so it's not you, it's just the way it's working out right now. So it does take a sense of like personal leverage off of you, which is really relaxing and nice. But also, this is implying that this is not the year to focus on that, because again, not only the timing thing, but timing things pop up so we can slow down and kind of reevaluate our perspectives on stuff. And so the cool thing is, talk about the perspective between the unconscious and conscious mind. That is what I meant. It's like you're having fun, you're having a good time with friends, but you're better understanding yourself. And really, it's more than just being like, wow, I better know who I am, but being like, whoa, there is a direct parallel going on here. Being able to successfully step into that power of working with that parallel between your unconscious and the conscious, or you could even say like the non-physical and the physical, and making that all work to your advantage, and not only getting to see the results of that, but being able to be like, whoa, I understand the process. Whoa, I see the bigger picture here in general. Like, I'm talking like the universe stuff. That's actually why I was recommending my intuition course and even Patreon. You don't have to. I'm just putting these options out there, because the more we understand, the more we see the bigger picture, and we start to have like smaller questions answered, and we see how they all start to interconnect. This is when that perspective comes into play, and it's really fun and magical, and I just love that for you. And I think that's a really fun year to spend having a good time, feeling a lot more emotionally open to then have more success in the long term with other pursuits. And then in addition, I love this so much for you. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. Feel free to give this video a like, a subscribe, hit that notification bell. I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.